So it's August, the middle of August, and just like a few weeks ago. And if you could see me, you would say, that girl is in a hut in Africa and she is about to pass out from the heat. But the thing is, I'm not in a hut and I'm not in Africa. Those things are fake. I'm at Disney World. The only thing that is real is the heat. The heat is so real. So back in March of 2020, my 22-year-old daughter was working at Disney World when COVID happened and Disney World got shut down and her job didn't exist anymore, and she came home to us where she lived in her childhood bedroom and was miserable for 15 months. The only things that made her happy were carbs and a nonstop stream of Disney wearables and paraphernalia and stuff that was delivered every day to the house by the UPS man. And as soon as the website said she could reapply for work, she did. And she got a job and she moved right back south and she was really happy. And in August, when we were going to be taking my son Jonah to Florida also, where he was going to be starting his delayed freshman year, she texts us and she says, will you please come visit us, come visit me in Disney World. I want to take Dad to the new Star Wars land. Now, you should know a few things at this point, okay? One is, I don't like Disney World. Like, I've been and I've taken my kids and I get why we go, but I also kind of don't really understand why with an entire planet of vacation destinations to choose from, grown adults choose Disney World for their precious vacation dollars and days. If you do, more power to you, God bless. It's just not my thing, it's her thing. And I don't really like Star Wars either. That's Andrew's thing. And I especially do not like being hot. But in fairness, I should also say, I don't like being cold, I don't like being sleepy, I don't like being hungry, I don't like needing to pee. I'm like a great big baby lady, and I get cranky when these things happen. But what I do really like, what I really love, is my kids and my husband and my family. So when Emily texts, I go, yeah, of course we're coming to see you in Disney World. And we get to Florida and we get to Disney World and we scoop Emily up and we're headed to the main gates at Animal Kingdom. And in the car, Emily's telling us all the things we're gonna do. She has this planned with like military precision, only I'm the grunt. And we're gonna be going here and doing this and eating that and going on this ride and this thing and this thing and this thing. And we get to Animal Kingdom and the parking lot attendant pulls the car in front of us into this spot, which is the final spot in this row, and sends us to this spot, which is the first spot in the next row, as far as you can park from the gate. So we get out of the car and we start walking to the gate, and it's like 100 miles away. And by the time we get to the gate, like my face is red and hot, and I'm sweating in my elbows, and I'm sweating under my boobs, and I'm already not having a good time. And then we have to walk to the back end of the park where we're gonna go on this kind of faux African safari, only as we're waiting online with all the other people, the African safari, thank God it breaks down and we're not gonna do that ride. And she says instead, let's go on, there's a new baby gorilla. We can go to the gorilla exhibit. So we go to the gorilla exhibit and we look through the window and I see the baby gorilla, which is lying on its mother's lap, prostrate. And for a minute, I think maybe it's dead. Like maybe the heat that is incinerating me has actually murdered the baby gorilla. But then it blinks and it's okay. And I feel a little wobbly. And I sit down and I'm thinking to myself, maybe if I could just lie down for a minute, no one would notice. And I actually think probably I'm gonna faint. But Emily looks at me and she goes, are you okay? And I go, yeah. And she goes, really? And I go, yeah. And an actual uniformed grown-up looks at me and goes, really? And I go, yeah. And I kind of get my act together and I have something to drink and it's time to eat, which is good. So we eat something and we go on another ride. And as we're coming out, it's pouring, like biblically in this way that only happens in Florida, that does not relieve the humidity at all. And we put on this disposable rain gear. So now I'm walking through the park in this, like, I don't know if it's a garbage bag or a full body condom, and I'm sweating in that, and it's pouring, and I'm so hot that I just throw it away. I would rather be wet. And Emily's looking at her phone and going like, I don't think the heavy stuff's gonna come down for a while yet. And I beg for some R&R, and I am granted a little bit of shore leave, and we go back to the hotel. The general lets me go back to the hotel, and I have a shower and a little air conditioning, and I feel kind of better, and we go to Magic Kingdom, where we're gonna be there for fireworks that night. And again, we have a little something to eat so the baby's not too hungry. And we don't actually have a schedule to keep to. We just go to whatever rides don't have lines. And the sun's gone down, and it's actually kind of stress-free and nice. And as we're standing waiting for one ride before fireworks time, she gets a text from a girl named Diana who says, I'm also back after, a year away. And I've come straight to the park from the airport, which I'm like, that's pretty intense. But she has. And she says to Emily, come stand by us for fireworks. So we finish our ride and we go to where Diana is right in front of Cinderella's castle, which is reflected in the tattoo on her thigh. And suddenly Emily's interest seems not as out of place. Like, people here have Disney thigh tattoos. And as the announcements for the fireworks begin, Emily is mouthing along with the words. The announcement over the speaker says, 10 minutes till fireworks, friends. Now's the time to get your seat. And Emily's like, 10 minutes. And it's 5 minutes till fireworks. We're gonna turn down the lights. Stay where you are. Only I realize it's not just Emily doing this, it's Diana too. Like other people, it's not just Emily. And I'm the one on the outs, right? It's not unusual that they like it so much, it's sort of unusual that I don't. And the fireworks begin, and it's really beautiful. I mean, if you've never seen this, I will say, this is quite the show. There's fireworks going on up above, and they're projecting all this stuff on the castle, and it's colorful, and it's beautiful, and there's a soundtrack. And with every song, Emily's dancing and singing along to every word. And so is Diana, and so is this girl over here, and so is this girl over here, and so is this mom over here. They're all doing it. And finally, there comes this point in the song where Hercules is singing, I'm right where I belong. And I look at my daughter, and I see the colors of the fireworks reflected on her face. And I see the light in the fireworks reflected in her eyes. And after 15 months of being so miserable at home, I know that it's true as she sings along. She is right where she belongs. I'm not, but that's okay. And I love her, and I will come back and visit again at Disney World. Just maybe next time in January. Thank you.